Welcome to episode 34 of the Weekly Take podcast. For those of you guys who are listening on the video version, this is my new setup right here, my new room I'm in at my new house I am moving into next year. Can't wait for the next school year to start up, but this has been and will be Weekly Take episode 34. Thank you guys for joining today. I want to talk to you guys about NBA Finals Game 2, recap of what I thought happened, and NBA Finals Game 3 that is happening tonight. It is 3:13 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so the game will be in about 2.5 hours. What the Warriors need to do to win, what the Raptors need to do to win, NBA headlines, and some NFL, just kind of quick things that are going on, and some of my takes, because I know, NFL is right around the corner here. I think we're down to under 100 days, so it's good to get in some NFL. But first, NBA Finals Game 2 recap. Andre Iguodala is one of the guys who hit like one of the bruising shots against the Raptors last game in Game 2 in Toronto, and it was a wide open three to make the Warriors go up by 5, I believe. And you know what? I like how the Raptors left him open. I let Iguodala take that shot. He misses that shot 9 out of 10 times. I'm sorry, Iguodala, but it was a gamble Toronto had to take, and obviously they don't want to have open shots, but they made him shoot it. I would have made Sean Livingston shoot it, but Sean Livingston proved me wrong by snagging the ball away from Kawhi and making that play to dish it out to Iguodala. That was a fantastic play. A lot of people like to forget, just because Iguodala don't start, he's not on a finals team and he's not an NBA, like, people like to think the bench players aren't just as qualified for that moment as some of the starters are. He knows his role, he comes in and does his role, and sometimes those moments can gem. And if Kawhi takes that, goes down the court with 6 seconds left, down by 2, that's a chance to win it with a 3 or a chance to tie it with a 2, and he took that chance away. He would rather Iguodala, if he misses it, then it knocks 3 seconds off the clock. And it was a smart play by him to get it, and just brilliant, And also, another low-key MVP of the game for the Warriors was Quinn Cook. He came in and scored, I think, 3 for 3 on threes, or 3 for 4. Had 9 points in the fourth quarter, and he basically just made the Raptors play a different type of ball that they're not used to, and he was just making it. He'd come down there when the Raptors were only down by 6, then he'd make it 9, and then he made it 12. Yeah, 9, 10, 11, 12. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, wait. I don't know. Don't laugh at me at that one, but I am in college, for those of you guys who know. I can't do basic counting right now on air. But Raptors could not just capitalize on the end of this game. They could not get these turnovers. Kawhi was trying to take over, and everything was kind of falling not in his way. He seemed to kind of be losing the ball, and it's not that they were actual turnovers, but they would turn them over. Kyle Lowry would come pick them up. There's 10 seconds on the clock. Then they had to reset their offense, and then they would shoot the clock go off, and it wasn't really the shot they wanted. So they were rushing shots, and sometimes they fall. All those guys on the team are talented as hell, but sometimes they don't when you're doing a fade 3 and your name's Van Fleet. I'm not saying him in general, but he just was not making some of his shots. But does DeMarcus Cousins bring a different look for Golden State? And that's another thing I want to hit on, is that, DeMarcus Cousins brings a different type of play into Golden State, I believe. I think he kind of slows the game down a bit, but because they're trying to get him his touches and they're trying to get him all that. And I am still surprised that DeMarcus Cousins is even playing in the finals, that he came back from this quad injury or Achilles, and now he's playing, and he's putting in minutes. I think he had 21 points. And, when you're DeMarcus Cousins, you got to make those plays. And as a center, you got to come in and, that he knows his role, but he's also has this ego that he has to kind of be one of the powerhouse guys. And I think he's kind of swallowed the pill of knowing that it's Steph, Clay's, KD's, Iguodala's team before him, and even Draymond's. But he's doing a pretty good job, and it was cool to see him out there, even though he's kind of one of those guys who causes trouble all the time and stuff like that, but that's totally fine. But another thing the Raptors missed out on, too, in Game 2 is Pascal Siakam played 41 minutes and only had 12 points. They didn't have the Game 1 production they had with him, but prior to this game, they need to get Siakam involved for Game 3 tonight, which is in about 3 hours. This is about 3 hours prior to the game, Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah, Siakam definitely needs to get involved. Moving into that, for the Raptors to win Game 3, and here are the things I think they need to do. They need to take advantage of Golden State's injured, roster. They have more players on the injured roster than their actual roster right now, it seems. Get the bench involved early take advantage of the tempo because they're going to have the better players in more than likely. Offensive rebounds, create those second chance shots, make your free throws, and then limit turnovers. These things could be said for most teams that go into any game, but I really think that taking advantage of this injured roster is the thing Toronto needs to do. Getting the bench involved early, getting Van Fleet his minutes. Maybe Serge Ibaka comes in, gets a couple clutch blocks, maybe fouls people and bangs them up a little bit. Maybe someone takes a charge, gets the momentum going. You cannot let Golden State get that momentum. You can't let them get those three-pointers. You can't let them get those alley-oops because the crowd will eat that shit alive. They make a layup, they're out of their seats. So, yeah, you need to limit big plays. For the Warriors to win the game, for my Warrior fans out there, they need to make Kawhi beat them. They don't need to let anyone else beat them. They need to let Kawhi drop 50 if he's going to drop 50, if that makes sense. You'd rather Kawhi have a great game and you lose to him single-handedly than Van Fleet or Siakam or Serge Ibaka come in and just really take over. They need to make the other guys beat them. That's what they need to do. Make Kawhi do all the work and make everyone else's job more of a bigger thing. I know that kind of... Actually, restart that. Make the people around Kawhi beat you guys. They could live with Kawhi dropping a certain amount of points, but they cannot live with the role players beating them. So I guess I kind of reversed that a little bit. Sorry for the people who are listening out there. Limit perimeter shots from Van Fleet. The perimeter shooters, Danny Green, you got to make sure those guys do not make those shots at the end of the game to, silent your crowd. You can't let that get the home crowd involved. This is the opposite. Make sure you get those big plays. Bring that arena, just a whole bunch of stuff. Bring those people involved. My cousin Harold, actually, he told me to say a couple things, and I wanted to say things. But when we were younger, when the Warriors first started getting good, he told me and my cousin Darian that people back then, Golden State was paying people. He's joking, but they were paying people to go to those games. Now they have no problem with that. But just 5 years ago, I remember he was saying this team had nobody there. Now all of a sudden it's packed. You got all these software developers and all these famous people at the games. But it was cool to see that, back then, even though they didn't have a terrible team, it wasn't really the worst team, but they were paying people to go to these games. When I say paying, I mean they're making the tickets cheaper. I'm not, he's not saying that. They were actually making them pay, but you know what I mean. But yeah, they gotta have the fast tempo. They want to keep their starters in as long as possible to face Toronto. Toronto is going to try to take charge of that injured roster, so they're gonna keep Kawhi, Siakam, and all these guys are gonna be playing some major minutes. So they gotta run fast tempo, maybe get them tired. I know they're NBA and they're conditioned. But maybe, y'all run him a little bit, make Kawhi go out in the 6-minute mark in the third quarter, let him rest that long, and then capitalize then if you're the Warriors. So the NBA Finals, Game 3, Klay Thompson is down to a game-time decision. We still don't know, 3 hours prior to the game. KD is ruled out for Game 3, and then Kawhi actually went out and said, we got to limit mistakes and play confidently. These are great things that Kawhi is saying right now. He doesn't say much, but this was a big thing that I think is, for them. Limit those mistakes, limit turnovers, limit letting them get rebounds, limit giving up early, and just play confidently. Look at the shot like it's going in every time, and don't look at it and, oh, that's off, because then as soon as you start thinking like that, it's not going to work. So, NBA headlines moving into, that was our final spiel right there, 8 minutes of just final stuff, yeah. DeMarcus Cousins actually overcame the urge to quit the quad injury prior to this. He didn't even really want to come back to the NBA after that injury. And do you blame the guy? A lot of players come back and they don't really, get that injury, post-injury play again. Derrick Rose is a good example where he came back and played, but he's not really the same of himself, but he still came back, and I think DeMarcus Cousins was scared of coming back and not being the same DeMarcus Cousins, if that makes sense. Lowry vows to be more aggressive in Game 3. That is needs to happen. Kyle Lowry needs to make plays happen in Toronto. Lillard is part of the USA Hoops camp. I didn't really know what else to really say about this other than, that's good for Damian Lillard to do that. Damian Lillard, the point guard for the Portland Trailblazers, will be participating in the USA Hoops camp, so helping kids out and also just helping people in the USA Hoops program. And then moving into DeRozan, for those of you guys who don't know who DeMar DeRozan is, he's the shooting guard for the San Antonio Spurs and was the former shooting guard / small forward for the Toronto Raptors, who are in the finals. And, he just had an interview with a reporter from Bleacher Report. I totally forgot her name. But he said he was the sacrificial lamb in this Raptors climb. He thinks he was the one that they had to get rid of to be good. Not necessarily because of his skill, but like maybe he had to be sacrificed for them to be good. I thought that was pretty funny to be put in there. DeRozan still has humor about it. He's not like really butthurt about it. So good for him and not being really upset about it. I'm sure he is deep down, but for him to not say it in public, that was pretty cool of him. Steph Curry on the 2016 finals says he could have easily gotten around Kevin Love for 2, in which he responded that could have, that costed them the championship. And then Kevin Love responded, yeah, easily. He just tweeted at him and said easily. And the key word is easily, what Steph said. Kevin Love locked him up on that last possession, made him miss that 3, then LeBron James got the rebound, and then they won the finals in 2016. And I think it was cool how Kevin Love responded. He let him know that, hey, I saw this. Pretty gangster. Vince Carter says he's retiring after next year. That's pretty cool for Vince Carter. I've always been a Vince Carter fan just because of the way he can dunk the ball. He's played for Toronto. He's played for, New Jersey Nets he's played for. He's played for the Hawks. He's played for the Kings. He's played for the Mavericks. I think I'm even missing another team he's played for. But he's definitely played on a lot of teams. Rainbow Carter, he should be called. He's played on a lot of teams. But yeah, he's going to retire after next year. I wonder if he'll get like a farewell tour. I doubt it. He's not really like a guy like Kobe, I don't think. I'm not saying he's not as great as Kobe, even though he's not, but like not in a mean way. Like he doesn't have that, not aroma, persona, I should say. Kyrie is likely to leave the Celtics, and I would leave the Celtics too. I would be disappointed as in who the Celtics are this year. They had that roster. You guys know my whole spiel on the Boston Celtics. They have 8 guys I can name off the top of my head as an NBA team in the Eastern Conference, and they still do not represent themselves fully as Boston. And it's just Boston has these good teams, and they're meant to be. They should be these powerhouse teams, and then they're not. So I like to see Boston not do good because I don't like to see the East Coast do good. I'm on the West Side. And, I hope Kyrie leaves. I hope he goes to a smaller market team, to be honest with you. But I think he could go to LA. He could go to Brooklyn, sources have said. Carl Anthony Towns just, kind of tweeted the eye emojis, so the ones that are like that, and for the drama according... or regarding Kyrie Irving. Sorry, my words are a little slurring today. But, so then moving into that. Smaller market teams, New Orleans Pelicans are listening to AD trade offers finally. It's been a little long for them to be doing that. NFL. For all my NFL fans out there, that is about all we have for NBA. So moving into the NFL side of things in the minute of 13 minutes of the episode 34 Weekly Take podcast. We got Le'Veon Bell ready to regain his crown of being the third best running back in the league. Is that what Le'Veon's trying to regain? I don't think he was ever really the number 1 back at the time. I think he could have been number 2. Le'Veon Bell is ready to regain his second place crown. Okay, wow, here we go, Le'Veon. But he's gonna be cool to see in the New York Jets jersey. I don't have to worry about him as much because me being a Baltimore fan, I don't have to worry about him running on us. And sorry for the AFC East fans, but AFC East I don't think is sweating bullets about Le'Veon Bell and the Jets. I think they're all still worried about New England. Nobody's worried about Miami. Nobody's worrying about Buffalo. Nobody's worrying about the Jets. Everyone's looking at New England. And here's the thing. Would New England be as good as they are if they were in the AFC North or AFC South or AFC West? Would they be getting these divisional playoff games? Would they be getting these home place advantages if they played harder opponents? Because the AFC East has been trash for the past 8-9 years. And I don't know if that's... I'm not saying New England isn't good because they've obviously beat AFC teams from other divisions. But if they would play them twice a year... maybe get banged up a little more and not have a bye week for fucking 8 games out of the year, maybe it would be a different outcome. So I think it would be kind of cool if teams switch divisions every year or every 10 years, give New England a chance to go to the NFC. But I get it. It's the 2 sides of the country, and there's history, and I get it. But I'm just thinking, that'd be kind of cool. For all my Seahawks fans out there, this is good news for you guys to hear. Rams lighten Gurley's load. The Rams actually paid all this money to all their players. They got to pay their quarterback here soon. They're coming into a salary cap issue, and they didn't win the Super Bowl, so it's just like, oh, like we were almost there, we were there, and we didn't win, so now we got to focus on paying people. And Gurley's now has like arthritis in his legs, and they got to lighten his load. So, moving into that, Gerald McCoy picks Carolina over Baltimore and Cleveland. McCoy gets, I give him props to this because I feel like the main reason he wanted to go, I actually just talked to my buddy Nate about this. And, McCoy probably just wanted to pull the Richard Sherman thing and go to an in-divisional team and show them that they're missing out. He turned down more money from Cleveland and Baltimore. And I think he just wants to prove to Tampa Bay, like, you guys screwed me over. They even went and gave Ndamukong Suh his former number. Kind of a stab in the back, to be honest, after Gerald McCoy's done all for them. Gerald McCoy is a defensive tackle and will be playing for the Carolina Panthers, who formerly played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, wore the number 93. He's a veteran defensive tackle. And I think that will be a good signing for Carolina. But, here's the thing. McCoy's going to get a game-winning sack or a career sack or big sack, and they're still going to be down 24-0. I don't really see Carolina being the great team this year, but they definitely have a chance with Cam Newton as their quarterback. I'm a big Cam Newton fan, and it's just, there's always a chance if you got Cam Newton as your quarterback. I believe a lot of people like to hate on him, but I see how the guy gives the little kids the football after he scores a touchdown, and yeah, he dances and stuff, but a lot of other players dance too. So, that's not really a reason for me to hate him. Patriots cut Austin Seferian-Jenkins, a former Husky, for all my Husky fans out there. On the first day of camp, he didn't really do too well. But yeah, he was a tight end who played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, formerly on UW. But yeah, he was cut the first day of camp. So, give him a hand for that one. Gruden says on left tackle Trent Williams, we need him back, and that's like the sky's blue during the day. Yes, they need Trent Williams back. Trent Williams is actually the guy who punched Richard Sherman in the face in the divisional game or wild card playoffs in 2012, 2011. If you guys haven't seen that clip, go look it up. Trent Williams punches Richard Sherman. Pretty funny. But yeah, for all my Seahawks fans out there, for sure. And here's another an all-pro linebacker, all-star. Went out and said, Von Miller said, QB Joe Flacco is looking like a Super Bowl MVP. And I 100% agree with that. I'm always going to rock with my guy Flacco, regardless of, whatever's going on in Denver. I'm still going to cheer for Joe Flacco. And I think Von Miller is 100% right. Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback, and I will stand by that till I die. I'm a big Raven fan, and I will always stick up for my guy Flacco. He's always doing great things off and on the field. I think Von Miller is 100% correct. McCoy on Bruce Arians criticism. I know who I am. This is just the whole Cardinals drama stuff. It's just, actually, I don't even know why I have this down. I don't really have much more to tell you guys about Bruce Arians, except for Bruce Arians looks like this mic cover when he's mad when he's playing the Seahawks every year. The Bruce Arians looks like the tomato from VeggieTales every time he gets mad. That's what I know about Bruce Arians. A lot of things, there's two last things I got to say. A lot of people are hyping up the Broncos for 2019, and I know I just gave you guys that Flacco spiel, but I don't really trust them that much. They could break out. I hope they do as a Joe Flacco fan, but I don't really see it. But that was according to Bleach Report. Will Broncos be a surprise team for 2019? I give it a 60%. No, I give it like a 45% chance they are the third best team in the division. I'm not really seeing too much from him. They got to play Kansas City twice a year, San Diego twice a year. And they got to play Oakland with AB this year. I don't really see too much from Denver this year. Adrian Peterson on 2019, I got my mark set at 2,000 for 2,000 rushing yards. I think Adrian Peterson can do it, but that comes down to if Darius Geis does not come in and take minutes from him. If he's the solid number one back, I think that could happen. But if Geis comes in and is as good as people say he is, I don't think he's going to get 2,000 yards. Darius Geis is running back the Washington Redskins, formerly drafted last year, and he got an ACL tear in training camp. And I picked him in fantasy, and that did not work out. And one final thing for all my cheerleader fans, my cousin told me to... we need to see more Dallas Maverick or Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. My cousin Harold wants to see more of those Dallas cheerleaders out there. So, If you guys know any Dallas cheerleaders, be sure to hit up Harold. He would be greatly appreciated, or tell him where he could see them. Yeah, Harold, I thought I'd give you a shout out there. This has been episode 34 of the Weekly Take Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a 20-minute episode. Again, if you guys need help finding anything, finding where I am on social media, Weekly Take or Weekly Take Podcast is where you guys can find me. This has been great. Episode 34 is on its way to being posted. And go Raptors for tonight. And everyone have a great and fantastic day.